What's going on, guys? It's Walrus. So I was going to do a COD 4 commentary talking about what I think about Advanced Warfare, but I decided to change it up and do a breakdown. The first thing I want to talk about here, I'm just talking about a couple things from the single player part that I am kind of curious about. Then I'm going to talk about the multiplayer section, which is only 5 seconds. The first thing I'm curious about here is the grappling hook. I don't know if that's going to be in multiplayer. That seems like it's the usual single player accessory thing that they always have that's never in multiplayer. I don't know. I think that could be pretty interesting in single player or in multiplayer. I'd say the chance of this actually being a multiplayer is probably like a 5 out of 100. We're not going to know until the game comes out, or at the very least till the full reveal happens. But if it would be, I wouldn't be surprised, because apparently we're going to have jetpacks and dashing. So we'll get into the next part. Alright, so right here, something in the single player trailer, two things actually that I'm interested in. One, the scope right here kind of looks like the millimeter scanner for Black Ops 2. Now I know that's probably a long shot for me to say that that actually is the millimeter scanner, but that's kind of reminds me of. And two, the legs, as you can see, like when the legs jump up in the air, which I just watched Fisticuff's video, and he explained talking about the legs. Basically, in Black Ops 2, you could jump shot because the legs would spread, and that when you jumped, and that caused there to be less of a target. In Ghost, you couldn't really jump shot because the legs were together, so you could pretty much shoot, and you wouldn't be shooting between their legs. You'd be shooting their legs because the legs were together. Now, in this game, the legs are together on the bottom and open on top. So the jumping animation in this game is different than the jumping animation ever was. So that's one more thing from the single player aspect that I thought I'd mention. Okay, so the next part is real quick, nothing special, but there is, as you can see, cloaking in at least the single player of this game. Now, we don't know if the cloaking is going to be in the multiplayer. One would assume, I think it's in Titanfall, it's in Blacklight, it's in Destiny, I think, at least the single player. It's probably in the multiplayer, I don't know. I thought Destiny was garbage, personally, which we can get into that whole another time. But, you know, I think cloaking, there's a good chance it will probably be in the multiplayer, which I think that should not be multiplayer whatsoever. But it might be in, it might not, we don't know yet, but that is another interesting thing from the single player. And now we're getting into the multiplayer. Okay, the most controversial part of this whole trailer is probably this part right here. The multiplayer is going to have jetpacks, or whatever you want to call this. I don't know how that's going to work in multiplayer. The guy jetpacking seems to have a pretty good full range of motion. I mean, he's able to jump and then go backwards. So it looks like you're probably going to be able to go forwards, backwards, left, right, diagonal. You can probably go any which way you want. And it looks like this looks... all I can say, okay, let's just get to the next part and I'll tell you my full synopsis. So right now what you guys are seeing is the dash. Now, another thing I want to bring up that Fisticuffs mentioned is if they have one-hit kill snipers, like quick scoping in this game, that dash is going to be so overpowered. It's going to be unbelievable because people are going to be able to go back and forth with the sniper and you're not going to be able to do anything about it. It's going to be basically... This game has to have no sniping now that we see all the flying around you can do. Basically, it's no sniping or a ruined game, pretty much. It's one or the other. We're not going to be able to have sniping with this game being afloat, from what I see so far. Now, this is just 5 seconds. I'm breaking down 5 seconds here. So, we have another 12 days before the multiplayer reveal comes out, and I'm also going to cover that. So, let's get to the final clip here, and then we'll call it a day. Now there's 5 interesting points I want to bring up. One, the map and the kill feed and the score are all in this place they were before Ghost. So in Black Ops 2, the map looks like it used to. It all looks like it used to in the way of the HUD and everything. 2, they're bringing the Scorestreak system back. We'll get into that in a second. 3, if you jump off of something with your jetpack, you can jump way higher. And I think what's interesting about that is the fact that that guy was able to lock in on the guy in the air pretty good with his gun. Now, I as many of you know, my favorite game of all time, Modern Warfare 2, World at War, COD 4, those are some of my favorite games, Call of Duty at least. And there was a lot of mods in those games, mods and hacks, and people can fly around, and they used to have lobbies where everybody could fly around and shoot each other. Now, that was very hard to aim and shoot people in these modded lobbies, which I couldn't stand. But every once in a while, I would have no choice to play it until the game was over. Because anyway, so it was very hard to aim with in these modded lobbies, and I don't know how that would be any different than what we're seeing here with the jetpacks. It seems to me, unless when someone's in the air, there's some intense auto aim, because it was very hard to aim at people in modded lobbies. So I don't know how that's going to work. Once again, we're very early into this. We'll see. But the next thing here is the tsunami looking thing. That looks like it's kind of like a Battlefield 4 COD Ghost interactive map, even though the Battlefield 4 maps blew the COD Ghost maps out of the water when it pertains to the interactiveness. But either way, it looks like we do have interactive maps are back, at least this map, whatever map this is. Hopefully these are more like Battlefield interactive maps instead of Ghost interactive maps. And the last thing here I want to talk about, I think it's the last thing, I don't know, we'll see. On the bottom right hand corner, there are these two symbols, and I don't know what those two symbols mean. I'm not going to speculate. I have no clue. I'm just going to say there's two symbols there, and they each have 5 health bars on whatever those are. I don't know if they're kill streaks or what, but those exist. I'm just going to say that. On the Scorestreak section, as you can see, it looks like there are score streaks back, because it looks like there's a UAV for 500, and this is just beta, alpha type scores. The score streaks pretty much always change from the trailer to the actual game, and it's happened pretty much every year. But we have the UAV, and we have a vulture type weapon, or kill streak, score streak, whatever you want to call it. So right now what we know is we have UAV, we have a vulture type thing, but what's more importantly is the score streak is back. It looks like we're going to have score streak back. So we're not going to have to worry about the old dilapidated way of doing things with your get a kill, it's a kill towards your streak, get a kill, that's a kill towards your streak. Even though I really like that in Modern Warfare 2, that fits a certain game. But in this game, it looks like we're going to be going to score streaks. Now, don't take my word for it, but to me, if it was a regular kill streak, it would say 5 and 6. But here it says 500 and 600, which means you have to have a certain amount of points or a certain amount of score to get that streak, which would mean it's a score streak. So that's my breakdown of the trailer. I think it looks decent. I don't know what we're gonna have here in this whole Advanced Warfare game. It's gonna be different. The fans want something different. This is different for Call of Duty, but other teams, other games have all this stuff. So this is different for Call of Duty, but this is not different from video games. This is just Titanfall, Blacklight, Halo smashed together, and you got Call of Duty. So anyway, guys, if you liked the video, give it a like, comment, subscribe. I usually don't like to do these corny news breakdown videos, but I looked at this and I had a lot of opinions. I couldn't just do it over COD 4 gameplay. I wanted to show you evidence of what I thought. So anyway, guys, like to give a like, comment, subscribe, and I'll talk to you guys later.